Hey everyone, welcome back to 5 at 5. I'm back on the air after a 1 week break there. Spent some time with my family out on the west side of Michigan at Lake Michigan camping and enjoying a little R&R and just some family time. So it's good to be back though. Get back into what we left off last time we were together, and that is again looking through the book of Matthew and doing a book study in the book of Matthew. Where I left off was looking at chapter 1, the story of the Christmas event of Jesus being born in Bethlehem and all the events that surrounded that birth. Going into chapter 2, as we look through chapter 2, is the story of the wise men, the event that happens after the birth of Jesus. Now, Matthew is the only gospel writer that includes this event. You don't see that in Mark or in Luke or in John, but in Matthew, he includes this special event that happened of these wise men, these magi, these learned scholars, if you will, from the east, maybe from Persia or someone on the east, coming into Bethlehem to find this child. What prompts them to go looking for the child is that through their observations of the heavenly skies, they notice appearance of this miraculous star. A heavenly body appears in the sky, a new image. And I know there's a lot of theories what this star is. I always go with the miraculous point that God didn't necessarily use a natural event of whether it's three planets coming together or a comet. I would like to say this is just a heavenly body that Jesus made appear to show in the universe the birth of his son. But whether it prompted the wise men to travel into the west, go into Israel, and to seek out as this star becomes a sign of a child that was prophesied years ago, centuries ago, who would be born. And their first stop is actually in Jerusalem, where they go and they pay visit to the king, King Herod, and ask him if they can acquire from their scribes, their learned men, from the scriptures, from the prophecies, where is it foretold that this child that was promised years ago, centuries ago, where would he be born? And through their study, and they look at the book, prophet of Micah, that Jesus was to be born in Bethlehem. The Messiah was going to be born in Bethlehem. And so that's where they took them to. And eventually we're led off, again, guided by that star in the sky. And they go to Bethlehem and they find this child. This is months later, if not some cases, it could have been several months later after Jesus' birth. But they find Jesus with his mother, Mary, and as it's recorded here in Matthew, they give him gifts. This is what it says. When they saw the star, they rejoiced exceedingly with great joy. And going into the house, they saw the child with Mary, his mother. And they fell down and worshipped him. Then opening their treasures, they offered him gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. And being warned in a dream, did not return to Herod, but departed to their own country by another way. The point of including the story and what Matthew is revealing to all of us is that the message of Jesus, or the event of Jesus coming into the world as the Messiah, as the Son of God, he did not come just for the people of Israel, but really came for the whole world. That even these Gentiles, people outside of Israel and outside the Jewish faith, recognize the sign of the star and recognize this as a prophecy foretold centuries ago that a God will give a child to this world. And so we see them coming all the way in essence, to worship him and to present these gifts, these tributes to this sun god, this king that was born in Bethlehem. Well, after the wise men left, Joseph was warned in a dream. An angel visited him saying to take his family, because now King Herod has found out that this Messiah, this promised king, was born in Bethlehem, and he's jealous, and so he wants to kill him, destroy him. And so Joseph takes Mary and Jesus, and they make their way down to Egypt to get away from King Herod. And the story goes on. Sadly, King Herod sends soldiers into Bethlehem, where they wipe out every male child born 2 years or younger in Bethlehem. A horrific imagery, but just a reminder of the tragic world that Jesus comes into. Years go by. Eventually, Jesus will make his way back to Nazareth. Joseph will take his family back to Nazareth, where Jesus will grow up the rest of his years there in Nazareth. And in that little section there, though, as you read through it, there's a little imagery, a little comparison, if you will, of Jesus to Moses. Moses coming out of Egypt into the promised land, and now here comes Jesus in Egypt coming into the promised land, where he will grow up and eventually begin his ministry there in starting from Nazareth and then all around the area of Judah. Well, that's all for today for 5 at 5. We'll continue with this discussion of the book of Matthew through this week and the next couple of weeks. Again, if you have any questions or comments or issues you want me to address, please send those to my way and you can email those at 5@stmichaellutheran.org. That's again the number 5@stmichaellutheran.org. Thanks for joining us. Remember, you've been blessed to be a blessing to others.